What's going on, everybody? The Germ here with another video game pickup video. Now, one of the things you guys may or may not know is I work at a car dealership. Now, one of the things I do is I get into conversations with customers because I like talking. I like to talk to people. And I have some things in my office that kind of start conversations. The other day, actually probably a little bit longer ago, about a month ago, I got in a conversation with a customer and they said that they had a Nintendo 64 and some games up in their attic. A month goes by, nothing happens. Their daughter comes to pick up a car, and they said, "Hey, you remember my mom?" I said, "Yes, I do remember your mom." And I said, "I remember talking to her about a bunch of Nintendo games." I said, "I'd love to get those one day." And she says, "They're in the truck." I was like, "No way." I had to finish that appointment, and as soon as I got done, they went out to the truck, and I paid them for these games. The coolest part was, when I asked them how much they wanted, all they wanted was $100. It's something like, I want to say around 27 games for the Nintendo 64. I ended up giving them everything that was in my wallet, which was $140, and we're going to take a look at that collection. So I am trying to go for a full set of Nintendo 64 games. I believe it's 296 games. If I'm incorrect, leave a comment below. But for North America, I want to say it's 296 games. Give or take, I'm over 100. I would say I'm probably somewhere around 120. Out of the 27 to 30 games that I bought from them, I didn't have 7 of them. So we're going to put some aside. We're going to put those 20 that we already had or so to the side, and we're actually going to do a convention, I think, next year. I've amassed quite a collection of doubles, and how many copies of Mario Kart do you really need? The answer is really 1. So it's time to start selling some things. Let's take a look at these, see what we got. So one of the things that they did do is, that's kind of sucks, is they marked them all on the side. Well, starting with the Nintendo 64, they stopped putting side labels on the games. They had side labels on the Super Nintendo games, the NES games, but when you put these in a display case or pull-out drawer, this is what you see. You see the top, right? Just like that. So they wrote on the top. I understand. A lot of people write their names on them. I'm glad that they didn't do that. All these are legit. So let's go through these. We got Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. And I don't remember which ones I have and I don't have. Banjo-Tooie. I actually do remember I don't have this one. This was a new one. We also added Mickey Speedway USA. That was a new one. Something Golf Country. You guys maybe know how to say it better than I do. XG2. I know I have this one already. It's not an expensive game. We're going to sell that one. Of course, we got Super Mario 64. Who didn't have that game? I recently, in one of my last pickup videos, completed the Cruising series. So now I have all the Cruising games. That's Cruising USA. One of my favorite arcade racers in the arcade. When I went to the arcade, I had to play one of the Cruising games, whether it was USA or Exotica. I love those games. Blast Corps. Never played this one. And of course, never played this one. International Superstar Soccer 64. It wasn't really in the sports game, especially soccer. Definitely not my thing. 1080. Snowboarding game. Looked pretty cool. Battle Tanks. I think this was a double. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all these. I can clean these up. Actually, this one's pretty interesting. They didn't write on the top of this one. This one's Banjo-Kazooie, so the first one. Loved, as a kid, Micro Machines. Micro Machines were awesome. I'll never forget when we were moving up here from Florida, and my brother was playing with his Micro Machines. I was 7 when we moved here, so to New York, and he was 10, and he was playing with the Micro Machines on the top of the dashboard, and one of them went into the vents near the windshield. And every time my mom turned on the air conditioner, you'd hear, you'd hear the car. She was so mad. Oh, God. GoldenEye 007, which is a classic. This is so cool. Got so many. I have so many copies of Pokemon Snap. Never played it. Never got into Pokemon. I know that's one of those ones where you could take the cartridge, save the pictures you take, and bring them to Blockbuster. You could print them out. Star Fox 64. Love me some flying games, so that's a lot of fun. NASCAR 99. It's making another left turn. Ken Griffey Baseball. Oh my God. I loved Ken Griffey when I was a kid. Ken Griffey Jr., that is. One of my favorite games, one of my 2 or 3 top games. It's funny, they don't have to be expensive. They just have to be good. Pilot Wings 64. This is, I gotta say, my favorite game on the Nintendo 64. If you have not played Pilot Wings for the 64 yet, check this out. It's just a phenomenal game. You'll really enjoy it. Super Smash Bros. Classic. Gotta have that in the collection. That's definitely a double. Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits, Volume 1. This one's interesting. I don't think there's a Volume 2, if I remember correctly. Mario Kart 64. I always hated Mario Kart, and recently this is something I actually just got into. I've been playing the Mario Kart like nightly on the Switch. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's nice and easy to pick up. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Interestingly enough, I brought my daughter to a park today, and they had a skateboard thing there. Skate park, I guess, right? And the kids were all doing tricks and stuff. I was watching them. I watched them for a good half an hour. It was pretty cool to watch them, but never got into that. Vigilante 8. I believe this is a lot like Twisted Metal. Haven't played that one in a while. Wipeout 64, another game that ends in 64. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. That was a great arcade game as well. We had the arcade I worked in was on Namco in the Kingston Mall. Actually, Hudson Valley Mall in Kingston, New York. And we had one of these Star Wars racers. Man, that thing was massive. Somebody was always playing it when it first came out. And then I remember it just sat there. Nobody played it after that. It was a cool looking cabinet. Turok 2. I actually played this recently. I know a lot of people are really fond of Turok. I don't like the game. I don't get it. So, I don't know. Maybe it's something that you have to be into. I'm excited to play this one. I think I have it, but I've never played it before. Chopper Attack. I don't know if that's any good or not. I like, I love, I was going to say Price Chopper. That's a grocery store. Choplifter. Choplifter is a great Sega game. I played it numerous times. I actually picked up a Wada copy at one of the shows we went to for the Atari, which was pretty cool. Donkey Kong 64, another classic. F-Zero X. I think F-Zero's coming back out for something, or something was coming out that's like F-Zero. I want to say it was Super Rare Games has released something that is like F-Zero. WCW versus NWO. Who's on the cover of that? Hulk Hogan, and I don't know who that other guy is. I kind of fell off once that went that way. And one of my second favorite games, you guys know Pilot Wings 64 is one of my favorite on the 64. Other one, Wave Race 64. This is a phenomenal game. It's like a $14 game. It's just a fantastic game. So that's pretty cool. All those I picked up, plus a Nintendo 64 with an expansion pack, and I think there was a Rumble pack with it too for $140. That was a great deal. I don't need the 64. I'm going to sell that. I'll get most of my money back out of that. I often go into a thrift store that's located very close to my job, and the girl's awesome. She saves me things, and she saved me this copy of Mario Party 2. It's got a label rip on it. She only let me pay $5 for this. $5. Thanks, Nicole. You're awesome. So, got that. That was not part of that other collection. I have a consignment store in my hometown. He also saves me stuff, but I don't get them for $5. So we picked up a couple Super Nintendo games. I think he got whatever's here, and then there was a couple more that I didn't get. There was like 3 or 4 more. Like Super Mario World was there, but I have 3 or 4 copies of that, so I passed on that one. But there's some in here that I didn't have that I thought were pretty cool. The Magical Quest, Mickey Mouse, starring Mickey Mouse. So thought that was neat. It's got the price on it, $10 for that one. That one was fair price. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Another that was a $15 game, and then we added all these up, and then he gave me a little bit off too. Final Fantasy 2, that one was a little expensive, $40. Didn't have that one. Actually, didn't have any of these. F-Zero. So we were just talking about F-Zero. There's F-Zero for the Super Nintendo. It's pretty sick. I don't usually buy sports games when I'm in these stores, but I didn't have this. It's an LJN game, which we know probably sucks. It's also a sports game, which it's way out of date. But Roger Clemens MVP Baseball, $10. That's surprising that was $10. NBA Jam. I know I had this game, but I didn't have the tournament edition. So you see NBA Jam tournament edition. I actually have the arcade game for this, which it doesn't work. I need to get that fixed. That would be super awesome to play that. And we got 2KO TKO Super Championship Boxing. We've got Super Off-Road. I love Off-Road. I used to play Off-Road in the arcade constantly. In fact, I used to actually work at a Walmart in Kingston, New York, as well as that arcade. And two things that I would do. So I worked at the arcade and the Walmart at the same time. We'd actually go over to the Super Kmart, which actually had an arcade in it. And I'd actually play Super Off-Road. I remember spinning that wheel. I was awesome. Those nitros, such a sick game. I haven't found anything that's close to that arcade game. Eventually, when I move, that is an arcade game I'm going to be looking for. There's a big 3-player one, and I've recently seen a 2-player one, and that is definitely going to end up in the game room. It is a phenomenal driving game. There is no other driving game like it. It's just a great game. The other thing I used to do is, it's funny how these stories come, because they just came from memory, is I was friends with, so I worked overnights. Let me start out with that. I worked overnights at Walmart. We'd get an hour break. Now, the germ doesn't eat very much, okay? You guys probably know that by watching these videos. I've talked about it before. I can literally eat one chicken wing and I'm good for the day, which is ridiculous. Buffets are not good for me. They usually win on me. So we get our lunch break at Walmart. We get the hour break. The Walmart that I worked at was right next to the mall. So literally, I would literally take me 5 minutes to get from there to the mall. Me and the mall security guard for overnight, we were friends. He would let me in the mall. I would open up the gate. I throw on all the arcade games and give him a key, and we just put them all in free play, just play. It was freaking awesome. That lasted probably for at least a good year. It was funny. I remember every once in a while, it would be like, I think it was like 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning when we took our lunch. And I remember the phone would ring. And it happened constantly when we did this. And I don't know if we didn't have a security alarm. So I don't know. Maybe when the gate got opened, they knew. I have no idea. But never got caught. I mean, was I really doing something wrong? Questionable. But it was awesome. We got 2 more games. We got Spider-Man X-Men. And we've got Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and this was the only one with the slipcover. So all those Super Nintendo games, let's see how many there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those 10 Super Nintendo games cost me $125. So Eric, thank you for that deal. You are awesome, sir. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of games. The next thing I got to do, we're definitely selling this. I mean, that sucks. We're gonna have to try to get some more money out of this. Is I'm gonna get some alcohol. I'm going to try to get this off. If that doesn't work, I can always use a magic eraser. I'm pretty sure I could get these off the games. But I need to really go through my games, which this is a pain in the butt when I get a big collection like this. What I do is I'll go through my games, and even though we have a whole bunch of games that I picked up, and I forgot how many were there, 27 to 30, somewhere around there. And we'll look at the labels. We'll make sure whichever label's in better shape is the one that I'll keep. And then I'll put the other ones for sale. So, like I said, at some point, and I'll let you guys know when I do that, so if you guys are in that area, you can have the chance to meet me. We're going to do a video game convention, and I'm going to be a vendor. So I need to get rid of some of the games. I have way too many of everything. I haven't counted them in a while, but I have to have at least 15 Nintendo Wiis, at least 10 Nintendo 64s, probably 5 or 6 Super Nintendos. I could see 3 Sega Dreamcasts from here. It's crazy. I got probably 5 or 6 Sega Genesis consoles. I got a lot. So, there's some that I don't see very often. I only have that one Jaguar system. I have one TurboGrafx 16 system. So there are things I only have one of. But I don't need to have 5 of something. And some of the games, it's gotten ridiculous. Like, I think Mario Kart. You know what? Give me a second. There is no reason to have 16 copies of Mario Kart for the Wii. That's how much stuff I buy, guys. I think I paid MSRP for one of these. So, they're all in there too, you know, and I think I also have some loose versions of this. I think I have 2 or 3. So if I end up finding a loose case at a yard sale, I can fill one of these up with no problem. So it's crazy. It's time to sell some stuff, you know. You never know when I'm going to move. If I find a place in 2 years, and right now I have 16 of these, and that's only been probably a year and a half, because this started out as a joke. Anytime I see a copy of Mario Kart at a yard sale, I buy it. If I see one at a flea market, a thrift store, a consignment store, it's going to my collection. You know, and I'm not going to stop buying them, but you know what? I don't need 16 of them. There's no reason. I'm not going to have. I look like a rental store at this point. So yeah, we're gonna I don't know, bring some of these when we get to do a show. Convention, and I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know how much it costs to do a convention. I don't know how much it costs to be a vendor. You know, there's hotels involved, because you know, I don't live in like one of these areas where they have the conventions locally. So it's gonna be in Connecticut, it's gonna be in Philadelphia, it's gonna be somewhere else, Syracuse maybe. But you know, all these places are not close to me. You know, I think Connecticut one, the Hartford one is 2.5 hours away. The Oaks, Pennsylvania one, Too Many Games, that's probably 3 hours away. So we're gonna have to stay overnight. You know, we're not gonna have an option. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And I don't know. We gotta get, and this is just the start of it. There's a lot more. I think I got maybe 10 copies of Wii Sports. You know, Wii Sports Resort. I probably have 5 or 6 of those, but I'm gonna keep going. You know, you go to a yard sale, you get a good deal on these, you can flip them, make some money. So, and then we could reinvest it in the game collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Keep hunting. You never know what's out there. I love doing this. Let me know what your favorite games are that I picked up. You know, are you amazed at the stuff that I find? I am. You know, I think it's funny because I start collecting for one thing, and I'm like, all right, I want Nintendo 64 games, and that's all I was looking for. But then all of a sudden, Super Nintendo games fall into my lap, or GameCube games, or Wii games. This is why you never look for one thing. Keep your options open. Guys, until next time, I am the Germ. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, okay? And leave a comment below. Let me know what console you grew up with. I'd love to hear that. Guys, I am the Germ. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.